I was researching John Hagelin in relation to these rule sets changing based on a certain number of people and got into the Maharishi effect, where large groups of people focused their intent on a city and their intention was to lower crime rates, had consistent positive results. Could you talk about that subject in relation to free will?
Sure. Well, first of all, the effect, the Maharishi effect, as you said, because the Maharishi University, I think, first started doing that kind of focusing their intent on large statistical ensembles changing. Now, the amount of crime in a city is obviously a large statistical ensemble. You know, it comes and goes. The crime rate isn't a constant or anything. There's lots of randomness in that. So they've fixed their intent to modify that. We've already said that a focused intent changes future probability. Well, obviously, if you have a whole lot of people focusing their intent on minimizing the crime rate in a particular area, particularly in a large city where it's very statistical, if you were doing the same thing in a town of 20 people where, there was not the same kind of uncertainty in the crime rate, then you wouldn't get much of an effect. But where there's lots of uncertainty, then you can have a greater effect. So it does work. And if you have people who can focus their intent, and they do this consistently on a proper kind of statistical situation with a lot of uncertainty, of course it works. So it's not, and it's been shown many times that it does work. Now, what about free will? So are they somehow modifying the free will of people and making them not do the things otherwise they would have done? Well, there's a lot of misunderstanding about free will. No, they're not overriding other person's free wills. Many mistakenly think that free will means that you are beyond being influenced. Like you have free will, your will is inviolate. That's equivalent to having unlimited wishes. If you had a genie and instead of 3 wishes, you got all the wishes you ever wanted, then that's free will. Your will is inviolate and anything your will wills happens. That's not what free will is about at all. To understand free will, first you need to have this concept of decision space. Decision space is all of those decisions that an individual has available to them. Okay, now let me describe that a little more. So a decision space is an individual thing. Everyone has a different decision space. It's a personal thing. So if you come to a point where there are 10 different ways that you can go, okay, you come to a problem. Somebody has just insulted you. Now what can you do? Okay, you can throw a fit. You can punch them out. You can draw your gun and shoot them. You can ask them what their problem is. You can turn around and leave, and you have all these different things. You can get angry, you can get upset, you can be embarrassed, or you can just take it in stride and understand that it's their problem, not yours. And so you have, there's probably 100 different ways that you could react to this. Well, these are all things that are in your decision space. If indeed, or let's say they could be in your decision space, but only the things that you actually can access, you, with your understanding, your fear, your love, your concern, your ego, your expectations, all of that limits the amount of decisions that you have. It kind of binds you in. So if you're very, very egotistical, then now your decisions of turning around and leaving or not being upset or whatever, those aren't there anymore. Those have gone away. You can't access those. So it's only the decisions that you can access. So those make up your decision space that you have at any particular time. Now, having free will means that you get to choose how you're going to react. You get to choose one of those possible choices in your decision space. That's all it means. So you get thrown into jail and suddenly your decision space, the things that you can choose to do, get smaller. You can no longer choose to get up and walk out the door and go home, right? That choice is taken out of your decision space. If you are depressed, your decision space tends to get very, very small. Your reality is very small. So the size of your decision space is also the size of your personal reality. You have a huge decision space, you live in a bigger reality with more choices and more options and more things available to you. So that's what free will is. It's the freedom to choose from among the items that are in your decision space. That's all. So what they have done in this Maharishi effect is they have modified probable reality. So now where it was probable that, 1,000 crimes would be committed, that probability goes down. Now it's probable that only, 600 crimes are committed instead of 1,000. So they've changed the probability. How did that translate to individuals? Well, somebody who was kind of in the mood to go out and, rip somebody off decided to stay home and watch TV instead. Okay, it's that kind of stuff. It's not that they're running over that person's free will. It's that that person now was inclined to make different choices, was nudged to make better choices. That's all. So it's not that they somehow manipulated people, as it is that they changed the way they made choices. So that's the connection. Now, if you'd like to say that that's running over their free will, that's not really so. They still had all the same choices there, and they still had the same freedom to make any of those choices. What they did is modified their intent slightly, what it is that they were most likely to do, changed the probability of what they would do.